Hey everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm getting on today because obviously I want to do some tarot reading for you guys. And today, one of my viewers was kind of asking or talking about Putin's mental health, or I should say Putin's health. And yeah, I've heard kind of rumors about that for a long time, including that he has Parkinson's. And just that he's not in the best of health. And, the last time we saw him on TV, he did look a little bloated, a little hollow. So he wasn't looking too good. He is, 70 plus. So, there's that. But yeah, I want to take a look at his health, see how that's going. Because I was thinking maybe his health is the urgency, behind his actions here. Why is he doing this? Maybe, he thinks he's not going to be around much longer and he wants to, see his dreams come true. See his dreams comes to fruition, before he checks out. So I'm going to take a look at that. I also want to maybe take a look at if he's going to be assassinated. I'll probably take a look at Trump's health as well. And finally, I think I want to take a little bit of a look at those oligarchs, right? See how the sanctions are going to be hitting them. So let's at least get into that, okay? So we're starting off here. I'd like to know about Putin's health, his physical health, okay? Putin's physical health. Let's get into that. Putin's physical health. How is he doing? And that, include mental health too. There is a physiological aspect to that. So let's get into Putin's health. All right. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're starting off here with the Page of Swords. So I would say, the swords, as far as health issues go, that is the air sign, has to do with speech, communication, thought, your thinking process, right? Your mental faculties here. So with the Page of Swords, this is him defending himself. So I think being in that defensive posture, having a lot of pressure put on him, a lot of focus, a lot of accusations, right? This whole concept of him being back up against the wall, like I talked about the other day, this is unnerving him. His faculties are strained. His thinking processes are strained here. So this is definitely pointing to a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress mentally. His challenge with the Three of Cups. So his challenge is that, let's just say, a failure, right? So normally this would be a celebration, especially a celebration of accomplishment. For a challenge, though, this means that what you were trying to do didn't come to fruition. You're not able to celebrate here. So this, he's seeing everything unravel around him. And again, high levels of stress. He thought he'd be celebrating, and in fact, his cups are spilling out, right? So he's losing. He's the future that he thought he had for himself is not happening. This also has to do with other people, right? This is a celebration with other people. So, this also is telling us that there are others around him who are, let's say, maybe plotting his downfall. Instead of celebrating with him, the opposite, right? They don't want him in his position. They don't like the work that he's doing. They don't like the actions that he's taken. They're upset with him, aggrieved with him, right? The people that are around him, that are closest to him, his friends, his allies, his partners, they're kind of pulling the plug on this guy. So this is a huge challenge also mentally, right? Cups be in the water element would be associated with your circulatory system. Excuse me. So if we want to, kind of get down into that sort of physiological health, this would indicate that he's having trouble with his circulation, and just the fluids of his body, maybe. For the outcome, we have the world. We have the world card. So this is a grand ending leading to a new beginning here. So health-wise, this is telling us that something's going to be ending. Something's going to be ending. That's going to be leading to a new beginning. There's no sign or suit associated with this cup. So I can't get into, if it's blood related or mental related or gut related or things like that, right? Because this is the world. This is all of it. All of it is encompassed within the world. So this is just telling us that something's ending here. So, I did mention I was going to ask if, he might be taken out. And this reading kind of speaks to that more, I would say, than physical health. So let me see if I can dig down into this a little bit. Okay, so he was presenting as the Page of Swords. So we know that mentally he's overwhelmed with all the different ways that he has to protect himself. People are maybe plotting against him, plotting for his downfall here, is causing him a lot of anxiety. The clarifier for that page is the High Priestess. So he's defending himself, and he's defending his agenda. He's defending his secrets. He's defending those things that he's hiding that gives him his power. So I'm thinking, this is a lot of the money. He's super, super wealthy, keeps a lot of his wealth outside of Russia, overseas. This, he keeps his oligarchs enriched that same kind of way. So I think there's a lot of secrets here that keep him and his system propped up. And this is part of why it's so critical for him to win, right? To keep his status quo going. If he loses this battle, if he can no longer defend himself, all of his secrets come out. All of the oligarchs' secrets come out. All of the way they fiddle-faddle with wealth comes out, right? Again, high stress, high anxiety. Secrets eat away at you. They do. They eat away at you. The bigger they are, the more damaging it can be. So this reading is just confirming over and over again the mental strain that he's under. Okay, so here we go. I'm going with, this is his oligarchs, his circle, trying to unseat him here. And the clarifier card that's under that is the Six of Pentacles. So yeah, again, they want to unseat him because he is fiddling with their money. He's risking their wealth. Now they're getting their yachts towed away, right? Now they're going to have property seized. They're having all their money that's stashed in international banks frozen. So this, the money that was flowing from Putin down to these oligarchs has stopped, or at least this is the reason why these people want to, dump them. So for the world, which was his outcome card, this, ending followed by a beginning on the world stage in front of everybody, everybody's going to see it. Here we have the Empress card. So it is going to be the ending of his abundance. It might be the ending of his version of Mother Russia here. So there is an ending. But again, the world is followed by a beginning. So when it comes to Mother Russia, see that circle, the circle of life, it never ceases. So for Russia, it will be a new beginning, okay, for Mother Russia. It will be a new beginning. So I feel like this reading is telling me that Putin's on his way out, okay? Putin's on his way out, and the main health aspect I see here is just the incredible stress that he's under, which is affecting his thinking, his logic, his behavior, and so forth. So that's kind of what I'm getting for Putin's health. I definitely feel like I feel like maybe this reading is combining the health and, okay, are these oligarchs going to take, let's just reshuffle and restart this because I want to ask clearly. Are these oligarchs going to take him out? Are they going to take him out? They want him out. He's interfering with their wealth. You know, when he might be the president of Russia, but when you have the kind of money that those oligarchs have, I mean, billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? Putin becomes closer to a peer. You know, you feel like you have some rights. You feel like you have some power alongside Putin. So they are not as scared of him as, you know, the regular Russian population would be. Okay, so let's take a look. Are Putin's oligarchs going to assassinate him? Is he going to be, will Putin be assassinated? Let's just put it that way. Maybe it's the oligarchs, maybe it's a Ukrainian bomb, right? Who knows? Will Putin be assassinated? You know, could be this month, could be in a year. You know, who knows how long this is going to take? I don't bother asking the tarot for time frames much. Will Putin be assassinated? Assassinated. Will he be assassinated? All right, let's take a look. So we've got the Lover's card. So this is him in relationship with others, him and his oligarchs. The challenge is the path that he's taking, right? So he chose a path, they don't like it. It's a big old challenge for him. For the outcome, though, we've got a Four of Cups. So, bad choices. What I feel like here is he's going to have to start, he's going to be in a position where he's going to have to try and pacify them, try and, I just had the word in my head. So pacify them, kind of talk them down from the ledge, you know, try and just make a bunch of excuses. Hey, you know, I'm going to get your money back for you, or let's have this agreement or that agreement, or let's, you know, he's got some, his outcome here is just there's a lot of bad choices in front of him. So I think a lot of these oligarchs are going to be coming at him like, why are you messing up my money? Why are you messing up my power? My yacht got towed, you know, my hotel got seized, that kind of thing. So the partnerships that he has with these oligarchs is going downhill because Putin took a path that they don't agree with. Outcome, though, he's still making choices. So I don't see that, you know, there's no death card here or anything like that. So I don't see an assassination in this particular reading. Okay, I want to keep on these oligarchs for a minute. You know, there's many of them, and I'm sure different ones of them will have different fates. Please, excuse me. Gosh, I'm sorry. So, you know, there's more than one. They're going to have different fates. But I kind of want to get a general idea of how are these oligarchs going to fare kind of in the end, right? You know, they get a couple things taken, but they're still super wealthy. They get it all back in the end. Are they going to be bled dry and left in poverty by these sanctions? You know, will they be taken down, arrested? What can we learn about these oligarchs and their final outcomes here? How is In the end, how is their status going to be in Russia? What kind of status will these oligarchs have in Russia? These oligarchs, when all is said and done, what kind of position are they going to be in? All right, let's take a quick look. Okay, so we're presenting here with the Empress. Mother Russia, it's a card of abundance. We're talking about these oligarchs here, okay? These super wealthy people from Russia, yes. What is their challenge? Again, we've got the Three of Cups as a challenge card. So the challenge is they're losing. They're losing their status. Instead of celebrating, they're maybe arguing with each other. They're in a disagreement. They no longer want to support each other. There's loss here. Loss of their resources and loss of their relationships. So yes, we can expect that maybe some are going to turn on each other or turn on Putin. They want to unseat him because they're losing everything because of this guy. So that's the oligarch's challenge, is that this, chummy relationship they had with Putin is kind of over. They are not celebrating. They're aggrieved and they're losing. And the outcome with the Two of Wands here is they're going to have to pick a different path. So they were on one path, right? The path of riches and power. But their outcome is having to choose another path. So that might be a different kind of lifestyle in Russia. It might be leaving Russia, trying to maintain a lifestyle in another country. But they are going to have to be taking a different path. And I'm struck with this card here. It's a very natural card, but there's no things, there's no riches, there's no wealth, there's no money in this card. So there's kind of a feeling here of maybe starting over, having a bit more of a natural kind of life. So I think it sounds like a lot of them are going to be losing a lot of wealth. They're going to be on a different path in life. Something maybe outside of Russia for some of them. Not so many possessions, not so much money. The loss of their social circle, the loss of their leader in Putin. So things aren't looking good for these Russian oligarchs, but not devastating. They will probably always have a massive amount of money, so they have the ability to take a different path in life, right? To start over, make a new life elsewhere, unlike Ukrainians and the Russian people. They don't have those kind of opportunities. So there are still opportunities for those oligarchs. It's just not going to be the end-all be-all. It's not going to end them. It just might change their lives a little. Okay, let's take a look at Donald Trump. So again, like Putin, under an intense amount of pressure. The crap's hitting the wall. The crap's hitting the fan, so to speak, right? Between the January 6th committee still subpoenaing people. They're due to start their public hearings like early April. Him and the kids, they have to testify to Tish James. Oh my God, did you see Donald Trump Jr.'s speech at, I believe it was CPAC, right? He was just out of his mind, you guys. He looked like he was high as a kite. Oh my God. So there's trouble in paradise with the children. Ivanka totally laying low. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a lot of communication there. How is Trump's mental health? How is his mental health? Trump's mental health. Interesting. This Empress card keeps showing up. Okay, so Trump's mental health, boom, we're starting right off with the Hierophant. So as far as mental health goes, I mean, this is, you know, the Hierophant is someone who's very stable, and Trump is not very stable. So, you know, I can't read it like that. So what I would tell you, this is government for sure. The Hierophant is government. So the government is front and center, okay? Front and center in his mind. This is all he's thinking about. This is all he's dealing with. The government is after him, okay? And his challenge is that he's feeling it. So again, high anxiety, lots of stress, despair, worry. But this card's lesson is that you did it to yourself. And Trump absolutely did it to himself. See the bound wrists here? His own actions are imprisoning him. His own deeds might literally imprison him. He's being bound by his own words and actions. So all these swords that are surrounding him, these are his lies, these are his crimes. This is the election fraud, the fraudulent paperwork, you know, all the things that Trump does, right? All of his actions and words and deeds are coming back to kick him in the ass. And there's a really solid chance at some point we can see him in handcuffs. And that's his challenge. What is the outcome? So the outcome, here we have the Empress again. And I'm feeling this is the Russia card. So I think his outcome, God, there's so many things to nail Trump on. Russia's just one of them. But it looks like if this is the outcome, this is going to be the big one. This is going to be the big one. And so part of the reason I think this is, okay, so this whole thing's going on with Ukraine, right? And people are asking themselves, or asking in general, would Putin have invaded if Trump was still in office? And people are like, yes, no. I totally think that Putin absolutely would have invaded in Trump's second term. And the reason why is because I think what he was having Trump do was prepare the path, set the stage, right? So Trump was messing around with Ukraine. I mean, Giuliani's whole side state activity over there, trying to get Ukraine blamed for election interference instead of Russia, that it was Ukraine who had, you know, those shady dealings with Biden's son, that it was, you know, Ukraine who Trump threatened to not give them their weapons, right? The military resources that were promised him. He got in trouble for that. That was his first impeachment, right? All about Ukraine. So the point is that Putin put Trump in to destabilize the U.S.'s support and relationship with Ukraine. So when Putin went in, which I think he was planning on doing, the U.S. would not have supported Ukraine. Trump would have been able to be like, oh, I'm not going to support them. They interfered with our election. They, you know, were corrupt with Hunter Biden. They, you know, whatever, they, you know, don't deserve America's support. And then, of course, we also know Trump was interfering with NATO, right? Interfering with the World Health Organization, interfering with the United Nations. So I think the point was that Trump was supposed to undermine the U.S. relationship in support of Ukraine. And when Putin invaded, NATO would not have been as united and as strong in opposition to Russia, because Trump would have damaged all those relationships, right? Cutting ties with allies, pitting one against the other, you know, becoming closer with the autocrats and like China, North Korea, and all this. This was designed to pave the way for Putin to invade Ukraine with no U.S. blowback and no NATO support of Ukraine. And I think Trump didn't obviously win his second term. So Putin was like, well, you know, better sooner than later. Let's just go in and do this thing. And of course, it's not working out the way he wanted. So that is my grand theory. So let's, you know, just ask the cards. Am I on the right track here? Would Putin have invaded during a Trump presidency? Show me if Putin would have invaded during a Trump presidency. And another part of my point is, so all this sort of maneuvering with the US and Trump and Ukraine and NATO and, you know, messing with our allies and, you know, starving Ukraine of their weapons that we were supposed to give them and, you know, kind of pitting them against the US. I think this is part of what the January 6th committee is going to uncover about Trump. And this is why it's all going to essentially come down to Russia. Russia and pleasing Putin and setting the stage for Putin goes a long way towards explaining a lot of Trump's actions in office that we didn't understand at the time. Why is he hating on NATO? You know, maybe with the World Health Organization, maybe he just didn't want people there to help the refugees. You know, breaking ties with our allies really fragments NATO and they wouldn't have been able to, you know, support Ukraine. Maybe they wouldn't have been so willing to take refugees, especially if Ukraine was being blamed for American election interfering, right? So let's take a look at that question. Would Putin have invaded Ukraine under a Trump presidency? Okay, so we're starting off with the Eight of Pentacles here. So yeah, there was a lot of work done. There was a lot of money being moved around. There was just a lot of work done here in this endeavor. It's all about the money. So yes, I feel like they were productively trying to undermine Ukraine, undermine NATO, right? Undermine financial assistance. There's a lot of work that happened here with this. The challenge, of course, with the Three of Swords was they had some defeats. You know, they had some huge defeats. Obviously, Trump was not reelected. The whole issue with him trying to blame Ukraine for election meddling instead of Russia came out. The whole quid pro quo with the weapons for Ukraine, that came out, right? The meeting in the room, it came out. So they had some major defeats. That obviously the ultimate defeat here was that Trump wasn't reelected. So that was a challenge to this situation. But for an outcome, we have a Nine of Pentacles. So this is wealth and confidence and sort of being the king of your domain here. So I feel like they put a lot of effort and work into this plan. And it didn't quite go as expected. They had some defeats. There was some, you know, we found out a lot of intel and information that kind of revealed this scheme. But was Putin still willing to go in? Yeah, he was willing to go in. He had the confidence. He had the resources. He felt all high and mighty, like, you know, he's the king. You know, he's the emperor, I should say, the czar. And he felt entitled to grab Ukraine, entitled for this move. So even if things didn't quite go as planned and there was some defeats there, he wasn't going to give up on what he wants because he's used to having what he wants, and he wants his home flush. He wants his home padded, his wealth padded, right? So yes, he wants Ukraine. He was willing to do that because he was just overconfident. He was overconfident. There's very few people on the planet more powerful than Putin, right? Any world leader, of course, has a lot of power. But between the power of just the presidency, the power of that insane amount of wealth, the power of using nuclear weapons, and kind of the power about not having that sense of compassion, right? When you don't care about other people's lives, when you're really just completely self-serving, you can kind of cut a lot of that emotional stuff out. And as we know, Putin's cold and calculating. It was all about himself, padding his own pocket, enlarging, empire. So enlarging his nation, enriching his nation on the backs of Ukraine. He had absolute confidence that that could happen. So I'm going to say yes. I think he would have done it. All right. So I did. Did I take a look at Trump's health? I feel like I did. Okay. Well, let's just, I can't remember if I just did something 2 minutes ago. Did we look at Trump's health? Let's take another look at Trump just in case I didn't. And we'll still get a peek-see into what's going on with him. How is Trump? I know we just did. You know what? Let's take a look at Don Jr. because he was whacked out of his mind at that CPAC conference. Whacked out. I mean, eyes all squinty and red, face all red and blotchy, running around like he was on speed on that stage. For entertainment purposes only, everybody. How is Don Jr. doing? Oh my God. I feel like he's losing his mind. Okay, Don Jr. Don Jr. Interesting. So we got a lot of ladies going on right here. So we're starting right off with the lovers. How's Don Jr. doing? This is speaking about his relationships with somebody. And right now, I think I'm going to Guilfoyle right here, okay? So, he's engaged. Eek. She's a kind of nasty piece of work. So, ew. But, I've done a few readings on Don Jr. I'm always looking at, like, his health or his addiction or his dad or whatever. And Guilfoyle tends to show up. So I think that's Guilfoyle. The challenge here with the Queen of Wands is, she's kind of a piece of crap. I would say that, all those wonderful qualities of the Queen of Wands, being fair, loyal, hardworking, productive, inspiring, all those wonderful qualities. No, she don't have any of those, okay? I think his challenge is she's a big old bitch, and she probably doesn't make him very happy, or she's destructive in some way to him. So maybe they argue a lot. Maybe they're snorting coke together in the back room. Whatever their relationship dynamics are, she's not good for him. Not that he's good for her, but she's not good for him. And then with the outcome, we have the Queen of Swords, okay? So this Queen of Swords, in its, all these cards have a light and a dark, right, aspect to them. And I think for Guilfoyle, this is enforcing what I just said. These swords, she's intelligent, sharp-tongued, probably just brutal, able to cut him down. So if she's not having the confidence to do that yet, because they're not yet married, he can expect that after they're married. She's going to be hard to deal with. She's just going to be undermining his confidence, undermining his authority. She might want to be the power player in the relationship because he's weak, Yeah, he's wealthy because of his daddy, but mentally he's weak. Psychologically, he's fragile. So I think she's the dominant player in that relationship. And that's what's coming through for how Don Jr.'s doing. So you guys, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you for being with me. If you like this video, press like. I hope you come back and see me again. And if I don't show up tomorrow, then definitely early next week. Stay safe out there. Everybody pray for Ukraine and spread some light over that part of the world. You might want to spread some light over Russia as well to help free those people from their ruler. And, you know, let's hopefully, you know, things will start getting better. I don't know. But anyways, I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye, everybody.